The WWE Championship is up for grabs. And these guys have been just going at each other's throats since WrestlePalooza, the first PLE on ESPN back in September. Again, I think this one could go either way. I really do. If we're looking at results, just like we broke down Jey Uso versus CM Punk, look at the results of this one. This could really go either way. I don't think there's a schmoz scenario in this one, but I assume this main event's the show, and Punk and Jay open the show. So if you're main eventing the show with Cody versus Drew, let's look at the way you could go with this. So you've got Cody Rhodes retaining the championship. What would that look like? I know City Kitty, if she's still watching in the chat, she wants to hear this, what we have to say about Cody Rhodes retaining the championship. Cody Rhodes standing tall at the end of Saturday night's main event. Okay. You had that same result at WrestlePalooza because Cody beat Drew clean at WrestlePalooza. He stood tall at the end of the night. There was no schmoz. There was no interference. There was no nothing. Cody just won. And it was a really good match. But Cody just won. There she is, City Kitty. You know I'm taking Cody for the win, but it's going to be a great match. Listen. Yeah, it's going to be a great match. Two of the best in-ring performers on the roster right now. Two guys with similar paths, blazing their trails, leaving the WWE and coming back. Like, this is one of the feuds. Remember, for those of you out there who are watching this, Cody Rhodes has only been pinned a handful of times since he returned to the WWE 3 years ago. And one of those guys to pin him was Drew McIntyre. So, that makes this match very, very interesting. This feud very, very interesting. So, Cody wins. He's standing tall at the end of the night. Just like at WrestlePalooza. So what do you gain by that? Well, if I'm being honest, I don't know. But I think there's a scenario where you can gain something. I'll address that in just a second. Drew McIntyre. If Drew wins, oh man. Drew, we can all agree, needs a proper run with the WWE Championship. He won it in front. His big moment was supposed to be at WrestleMania 36. But he won it in an empty performance center. And he carried this company in the pandemic era. Nobody was in the building. And when people finally get back in the building, he's not the champion anymore. And he never had a run with the title. And then finally at WrestleMania 40, he wins the championship and then gets cashed in on. Wins Money in the Bank, tries to cash it in, and loses. He's had a couple of shots at the title since, but he has not won it. So, his character, as I just ran through those scenarios, his character is obviously based on chasing the championship. That's what drives Drew. His obsession with being the WWE champion. I think that's what people really like about his character too. Is like, if there is what, wrestling's supposed to be all about top prizes, right? Even in sports, the NFL, you want to win the Super Bowl. In baseball, you want to win the World Series. NBA, you want to win the finals. You know, the Larry O'Brien trophy. All of these sports have one major goal. So what's better than a wrestler whose singular focus is the championship? I do nothing but chase that championship. Whoever's got it, doesn't matter. I'm chasing it. Damian Priest, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, doesn't matter. Drew's on your heels. So, that may be one of the reasons why WWE keeps booking him to lose. Is because they feel like they would be giving the fans what they want. Because I think fans do want to see Drew win the championship. Because Drew has worked his tail off for the last couple of years to make his character meaningful and telling great stories outside of the championship picture. So, if you give Drew the championship, what is his character then? Yeah, we want him to have it. Yeah, he deserves to have it. And he would be a great champion. He's proved that his character is incredible. And obviously he has great matches. But if he wins the title, what's his character at that point? So, I think WWE wants to keep Drew as hated as possible. And maybe you do that without him having the championship. So, here's my prediction for the match. City Kitty, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to you in advance. Before WrestlePalooza, there were some reports floating around that Randy Orton should show up and, I'm using air quotes if you're listening on podcast, accidentally cost Cody the championship. So, they didn't do it at WrestlePalooza. We haven't seen Randy Orton in a couple weeks. I don't know how Randy gets involved, but imagine the pop when his music hits and he comes out and accidentally costs Cody Rhodes. So, I would do it here. I would have Orton come out and accidentally do something that costs Cody Rhodes the championship. Drew wins, thus beginning the feud of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Although, when you think about it, the feud with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton should be based on the title, though, right? I mean, sure, they have all of this history with each other, the legacy and this, that, and the other. So, and we've seen one Cody Randy match already, the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And there was no title there. And everybody was entertained by that match. That was great. But you look back over Cody's whole title run, Randy's been eyeing that championship. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to rethink my prediction as I'm talking through it here. Maybe, yes, we want to see Cody versus Randy, but we want to see it for the title, right? Because we want the payoff of Randy staring at the championship and that fuel. We talked about the fuel of Drew McIntyre, that fuel of Randy Orton, wanting to be the 16-time champion, wanting one more title run before he hangs it up. So maybe Cody does win so that he and Randy. Okay, here we go. What if Orton does come out and he accidentally tries to cost Cody the championship, but it doesn't work? Maybe it backfires. So we saw Randy at the King of the Ring at Night of Champions, I think that's what it was, lose to Cody. And we saw Cody giving Randy his props in that promo and Randy looking over his shoulder. And he kind of had that menacing look on his face. So that was step one. And then now maybe Randy comes out and he tries to cost Cody the championship and he fails. So it's like, crap, strike two. Randy fails again. Man, what's it going to take to finally dethrone Cody? What's it going to take to beat Cody? Well, Orton keeps making mistakes and it doesn't work. And finally, Orton just gets fed up and Orton loses it. And Orton finally turns heel and faces Cody for the championship as a heel. Maybe that's my prediction. City Kitty in the chat. Yes, Cody Randy has to happen at some point. Yes, it does. And I think it has to happen for the championship. So I'm changing my prediction on the fly here. I think Cody Rhodes wins this match, but it's Randy Orton attempting to cost Cody the match, but it backfires. So you continue Drew's drive of not having the championship. Yes, Cody stands tall, but it's by the skin of his teeth. And we see a seething Randy Orton. Cody doesn't see it, but maybe the camera gets a glimpse of a seething Randy Orton who tried to cost Cody, but it didn't work. I think that's good. I'm going to stick with that. So Cody Rhodes wins by the skin of his teeth.